Hey Vivas, welcome to yet another episode of Viva, Aaliyah. As you can see, I don't have my normal background behind me, and that is because we are in Nebraska. I am with my best friend, Tajma Stetson. You can hear her in the back saying, hey girl.
Hey girl.
She's getting ready. We have a show tonight. We are going to be tearing up the stage. And today we are supposed to have Frankie Sharp on. Frankie is having a few technical difficulties. He just let me know he's running from a venue. So I am just going to, on air, let him know really quick that he is all good. And he can jump in when typing with nails is so much fun. When you can. All right. So we have a show opening plan for you. Don't you worry. We are still going to Viva it up. Like I said, I am in Nebraska. We're in Lincoln, Nebraska, right?
Yeah, doing a show.
And doing a show in Omaha tonight. So much fun. Chip, thank you. I am very fond of tonight's look, actually. All right. So I just want to say that this is, I believe, episode 13 of season 3. So we are getting closer and closer and closer to the end. But as you know, I am not just doing Viva Aaliyah right now. I'm prepping for a national competition. I am prepping to go to National Entertainer of the Year. And actually next week, I will be interviewing Buffet and Prince Cole. And they are our 2 current national title holders for National Entertainer of the Year. So I have asked my team, it's to ask me questions. Sorry, I just got a message from Frankie, bouncing 2 things at once. I have asked my team for nationals to ask me some questions about National Entertainer of the Year and what it's going to be like on my journey. So I planned on not doing this on air, but I am rolling with the punches. So we are going to see what questions one of my dancers, Ryan, has for me. So the first question, if you can't hear it, I will get it as close to the microphone as I can. And here we go.
Hi, Aaliyah. My first question is, what are you most excited about the pageant?
Okay, so first question is, what am I most excited about for the pageant? Also, if any of you have questions, go ahead and send them in. Frankie said he's about 20 minutes out, so we're going to do a quick 30-minute interview with him after he gets on. But things I'm most excited about in the pageant. One, I'm very excited about showcasing everything we've been preparing for the past, honestly, 3 years by the time we get there. As my friends know, my husband knows, Dominic knows. Dominic is also a friend and producer. But all of us have been prepping my national package for 3 years. We've been brainstorming. We've been coming up with these ideas. We've been putting things together. I've been contacting my designers. I've been just really preparing everything. And I think the thing that I'm most excited about is being able to showcase everything that we've put our blood, sweat, tears, passion into, and making sure that we are on track to go. So that would be my first question. Ryan has 2 more for us, and then we'll jump to Bradley's questions. So Ryan's second question is?
My third question is, what preparations have you done to get ready for the pageant?
So his videos didn't send in order. But second question is, what preparations have I made to get ready for the pageant? What haven't we prepared? Really? We've prepared housing. We've prepared transportation. We have gone category by category, getting gowns and garments and hair, jewelry. We have consulted with prop building people this time around. We're doing anything and everything we can to make this the national package, to ensure that we are giving it our 3,000% and not leaving a stone unturned. All right, let's go to Ryan's second question.
My second question is, why did you want to enter the pageant?
Why did I want to enter Entertainer of the Year? Entertainer of the Year has been the dream of mine since, so Tajma Stetson and I started drag together. So 16 years we've been doing drag, And 16 years ago when we started, we had a couple of mentors, and one of them is Tajma's drag mother, Shania Stetson. May her drag name rest in peace, because the person who behind the makeup is still around, but that drag name is no longer in use. And those individuals, including Shania and our friend at the time, she was not Dee Dee, but she had Dina DeMarco Bouvier, or Dina DeMarco Jones as her name, introduced us to the pageant world and got us interested in some of the greats. Maya Douglas, my drag mother, Tasha Cole, all of the Continental and US of A and Miss Gay America and Entertainer of the Years. And the actual reigning queen for Entertainer of the Year was a live vocalist, and her name is Angelique Ali. She's also, because she lived in New York at the time, the last New Yorker to bring the crown home. So I have had a passion for Entertainer of the Year because it's not just about being a beauty queen, which you know we love to do. We love to glam up. We love to look cute. And we just really, love to do our thing. We love to entertain, but being an Entertainer of the Year is about putting together an entire entertainment package. And that's from presentation to talent to gown and all of the things in between, or creative evening wear, I should say. It's not just gown. You can do other things besides a gown. And that's what drew me into Entertainer of the Year. And so as much as I want to be Miss Continental one day, or Miss Gay US of A one day, or Miss Gay America one day, Entertainer of the Year is the system that stole my heart. And it has been a dream. I've been backstage dressing, I have danced, I have been in the audience, I've walked across that stage as a national title holder for another system, but there's nothing like competing for Entertainer of the Year. And being able to become that is something that I hold near and dear, and will, if this is not my year, which who knows, but we will continue to go back for it. So, Savannah, hi, sistra, how are you? Thank you. Put on some cosmetics today. Thank you to my mother-in-law, Kim Bowman. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, so I would say the queen that brought me in was Angelique Ali. She's a powerhouse. She has that beautiful voice. I love Angelique. Me too. She tore it up, and her hand down was beautiful. She's feminine. She's entertaining. She's all of the things we want to be as queens. I'm looking for my next set of questions, which are from Bradley. He is another one of our dancers. I'm just typing in his name now into my cell phone. And okay, I think he did all of his questions on one video, so I will be answering them all together.
Hi, Aaliyah, Bradley here. So my 3 questions are, what title are you going for, and when is the competition? Second, why did you start competing and performing in drag?
Pause him there. So what title am I going for, and when is the competition? Hopefully he knows this, and he's just asking for the audience because he is one of my dancers. But I'm going for National Entertainer of the Year. There are a lot of, actually I'll say something about the title. There are a lot of different variations of the title, but the most classic variation of the title that we know is National Entertainer of the Year FI, which stands for Female Impersonation. Some people will say Miss Entertainer of the Year, and I don't think that has been said wrong, but the most classic variation of the name is National Entertainer of the Year FI. So let's rewind Bradley a little bit to get the rest of his second question.
Why did you start competing and performing in drag? And third is, what makes you...
Oh, he also asked when it is. July 23rd through 25th are the dates I will be competing, and that is in Louisville, Kentucky. Why did I start performing? I started performing because at 18 years old, I went to a little club in Lansing, Michigan called Spiral Video Dance Bar. And there was this large and in charge, beautiful queen, Delicious, that was performing. And Delicious, it ended up being kind of like the house mother of Spiral, and where I started my cast position as a queen. And she was just giving it to the kids and making sure that they knew who she was and showing that she was a true entertainer through and through. And I said, this is something I want to do. And then I moved to an apartment complex called, as we say it, Twickingham. Twickingham. It was Twickingham, and it had this weird castle thing out front that we really didn't know why. But I moved to an apartment complex called Twickingham, and next door to me were three strangers that ended up being three of the most amazing people and best friends I've ever had. And we grew to love each other and spend a lot of time together. And I found out that one of them also had the same passion to perform in drag, and that is Tajma Stetson, who I started drag with. We went out for our first time on Halloween. We're Halloween girls. And we started performing together. I think one of the first performances I ever remember was not at Spiral, but at a little bar in Sandusky, Ohio, called Club Eccentricities, or Club X. And we performed, what was it? Destiny's Child, Stand Up for Love.
That's right.
I kept trying.
Children's Day.
I almost said Bootylicious, but that's not even close to. That's the only song that would pop into my head. But we performed "Stand Up for Love," which is National Children's Day song, and we performed it with a queen whose name is also dead currently. I don't think the person is dead, but we don't talk to that person anymore. And we got booked by Dina DeMarco Jones that day, and Deja De La Terra was the hostess. And it was so much fun. We had such a good time. I will say we thought we were the most gorgeous things in the world back then. And now looking back, we were just starting out. And that's what I'll say about our look. But our performance was there. Tajma also performed some Bette Midler, stuff like that there. And it was so wonderful. And so I think my first memory of performing was at Club X in Sandusky, Ohio, or as we call it, Sandusky, Ohio. And we went to Cedar Point that weekend too and ate at Famous Dave's. Bradley, I did not finish answering his questions, but I will continue now. So I just want to make sure I answered all of the question. So let's get back to his.
Hi, Aaliyah. Bradley here. So my three questions are: what title are you going for, and when is the competition?
Answered.
Second, why did you start competing and performing in drag?
Answered.
And third is, what makes you so special and stand out from all the other drag queens?
He should know this as a friend of mine. No, I think what makes me stand out is that I have my talent. And that is what makes all of us special as queens. We have our own talents, but I decide to utilize mine. I don't want to be another queen. I don't want to be somebody else. I don't want to be a carbon copy. I am my own queen, and I use my talent that I was given, and that's what makes me stand out among a crowd. I am able to sing live. And not just sing, honey, but we blow the house down when we do our talents. And it runs in our family. We are live entertainers, and that's what we do. But I also know that I have, one of the things I've really been thinking about National Entertainer of the Year is if I do take home the title, what am I going to do with my year? And I was raised, Tajma and I started in an era where we were raised in the old school style of drag. I see Frankie backstage right now. Hi, babe. I'm just going to finish this question and then we're going to jump in. So please feel free to get a drink, do what you need to do. I will keep an eye out for when you get back. No worries. So I I've been thinking a lot about what I'm going to do. And we were raised in the era of old school drag. And that is pre-YouTube, before people could look up tutorials on how to paint their face, before you had designers through Instagram or hairstylists through Instagram, before, I mean, there were jewelry designers then, but there weren't 7,000 of them like there are today. And I also am of a mind of the new entertainers and have a respect for the new entertainers. And I think bearded queens are queens. I think women are drag queens. I think that club kids have a space in the same space we do. And so what I want to do is show that I have a respect for old school drag while also having a respect for new school drag, and bring in a well-rounded class of entertainers for the 31st National Entertainer of the Year, because that I will be 30. So yeah, I've been thinking a lot about that, and that's where I want to go with it. So he's actually earlier than he said he was going to be. I am very excited for our guest today. I am so sorry that he had to run to me, but he is very busy putting together what is going to be the hottest spot in New York City. And I am very excited to talk to him about this. I have dubbed him, and I hope everybody else dubs him this too. This is the new daddy of New York City nightlife. This is a wonderful human being. Let's give it up for Frankie Sharp.
That is a lot of pressure. How's it going? Firstly, thank you so much for having me. I'm so sorry that I'm late. I'm stuck in a venue from morning until night, and it's a little bit like being in Vegas where you have no idea if it's day or night outside. And I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, oh fuck, it's time to go. And so luckily I'm crazy and got a house 4 blocks away from the club. So I live like next door. So I ran as fast as I could. Anyways.
Oh, so you're in Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow. I am very excited to talk to you and talk about what New York City nightlife is going to look like, because you have been a significant part of New York City nightlife for some time now, but now you are venturing into something new and much larger than most people have ventured into. So let's start off by seeing what we're drinking. Do you have a drink on hand?
I do, but it's so boring. It's just iced coffee.
We love an iced coffee. You know what? When you're putting together New York City's largest club, I believe, you have to keep on that caffeine, honey.
I have to keep going. It's either that or Adderall, and I can't touch the stuff. So right after this interview, I have to run back to the venue and pick a wall color. So,
oh my gosh,
here we are.
Well, inspiration is all around you. Pink and purple are my favorites.
Yeah.
No.
That's right.
I'm actually coming to you from Nebraska. I have a show tonight, so I am. We're in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah.
I'm judging a pageant tomorrow, and so tonight we are doing the review show, and tomorrow is the pageant that I'm judging.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
So you and I are just go.
Here we are, right? I mean, that's part of it. It's the part that I really love. It's one of the parts I really love, so I'm okay with it. But you know, ever since the club became this major project in my life, it's been more than ever. But yeah, again, here we are. Let's do it.
So, like I said, you have been in New York City nightlife for quite some time. What was the thing that propelled you into being a part of our nightlife?
It was 2009 that I moved here, and my first roommate was DJ Michael Magnan, and he was a very good friend of mine. And you know, instead of going to work, I did go to work. I had to be at work at 9 in the morning, but I was also leaving Van Dam at 5 in the morning, because Van Dam was where Michael Magnan was spinning every Sunday. And I kind of just groupie followed Michael Magnan all around until I just fell in love with everyone that was around us, whether it's the performers, the club kids, the hosts, you know, Amanda, Sophia, Suzanne, everybody. And eventually I kind of stopped going to work because I couldn't make it anymore. They were very happy about it, fired me. I needed to find a job that was congruent with that crazy schedule. And so the only thing to do was to throw parties. So I threw my first party at this East Village bar called Bedlam that now the guys from Atlas used to own, and Daniel Nardicio. And that party was called Everything. And it was a small Lower East Side bar, but I booked it really big and heavy. And I used kind of all of my personal Rolodex of, Andy Cohen DJ'd for me, and Casey Spooner, and Sean, and Maluka Mala, and Hood by Air. And it was about getting these sort of big names in an intimate setting. And I loved holding on to that sort of really intimate New York vibe across my bigger events. And so that's kind of what sparked the whole thing. I won an award for it. And then I got, when I got attention for it, I was like, oh, maybe people care about this. Maybe this is a thing. And so I just kept going from there. It spiraled into so many other things.
And so you started off at Bedlam as a promoter. What has your overall experience been as a party promoter in New York City?
Life-changing and magnificent and beautiful. It's as a kid, I wish someone taught me that producing events like this was a real career, because I think I would have really loved that, to study that as a kid, right? But I never got to until I was an adult. And when I realized that I could make a real living from doing something I really love and obsessed with, it was life-changing. And, it sounds really not believable, but the thing that I love about it most is that I'm a community builder before anything else, before, I'm a party kid. But that has been the most eye-opening and most rewarding part of this whole thing. Really, nightlife has nothing to do with me, much like the Q, building Q has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with you guys and what I can build for you guys, and what stage I can give you guys, and what dance floor I can give you guys. I'm just in a great position to do so.
Have you ever thought about, since you said you didn't get that education growing up, have you ever thought about teaching a master class on party promoting?
No, but I mean, who knows? That sounds really amazing. I'd love to do like a TED Talk. That sounds fun.
Yeah, let's put a panel together. I'm happy to
love that. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to talk about, really, truly, because I wish I'm such a fostering and nurturing young talent to do the same is such an honor for me too. And again, like the Q, which I'm sure we'll dive more into,
yes.
Being able to put my producer hat is always on as an owner and as the head of programming with the Q, but being able to bring in younger talent to do what I was started doing years ago is amazing. And I get to help them not make the same mistakes that I made, superficial mistakes, silly mistakes with alcohol, bad choices, and just general bookkeeping and running a business is, nightlife kids forget that this is a business at the end of the day too. And I wish I didn't make some of the mistakes I did. So to help anyone else would be really cool.
Is there a specific party promoter that you, or more than one, that you looked up to in your journey?
Yeah, before I moved to New York, I was a super New York file. So I was like a teenage girl about it. Like I had cutout posters and pictures from like Paper Magazine in the face and ID of, like Suzanne Barsh and Mickey Boardman from Paper Magazine, and, articles of Michael Musto and, Warhol in the Factory, of course. Like I have a really crazy affinity for old New York, like 80s, 90s New York clubland. And of course, as that moves into, Limelight and, Michael Alec and that era, that was the start of the kind of formulaic nightlife that, that I'm building now, that me and people like Suzanne Barsh are building, and yeah, a bunch of other new fun people. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that again, I'm saying this from my point of view. I'm pretty sure that you are ensuring New York City nightlife is coming back with a bang. But was this a plan before the pandemic hit? Was the Q already in motion? It takes a long time to put a business together. So I'm sure you've had talks, but what was that process like before the pandemic? And then did you have people back out on you during COVID? And what was that process like?
Yeah, that's a really great question, because we had been, so me and my partners, Alan Pikus and Bob Fluitt. Bob Fluitt owns Boxers, and Alan Pikus is another promoter producer in the city. And they were the founding members of this project, and they needed to find, but they're, sort of more the business side of things, and they needed a creative partner, so they found me. And when they called me up and we went venue shopping, this was July 2019. But yeah, I remember because it was July 4th, 2019. I was already celebrating, like I'm opening a club and all these things. But so we were venue shopping. We found a spot August 2019, and we went through the whole rigmarole of the community board, the licensing, the permits, all that stuff. And we went through it pretty swiftly because Bob is, before Boxers, his main business is construction and building and architecture. So he's also in charge, or not in charge of, but is also lead in all of that for the queue. So anything we need built, he can do it really swiftly and, can get it expedited and all that good stuff. So it's been such an asset. But anyways, so August 2019, we were really quiet about everything so no one would get in our way. And then finally about March 8th or something, the lease was finally ready to be signed because there was a lot of back and forth, as you know, when you're trying to open a place. And March 8th, we got notice that we were going to sign our lease March 10th. And I think March 12th was when the whole world fell apart. So we were, devastated, to say the least, not only about the queue, but about nightlife in general. So we all kind of went our separate ways. Bob, has a huge family, and Alan went off to hang out with his family, stayed in the city, and me and my partner and my dog and our little pod went to Pennsylvania to stay at our river house that we stay at sometimes. Usually we stay there for a week, but we stay there for 7 months. But in that time, we monitored the pandemic, sadly and anxiously. And as months rolled by, things started to look a little bit better. Obviously, we all know it got worse before it got better.
Yeah.
And the landlord called us August 2020 and said, look, the industry seems like it's coming back. The space is still available. It's either going to become a TGI Fridays, or you guys can take it and we'll give you a great deal. And so it was my duty to make sure there was not another TGI Fridays in Times Square. So we just did it. And so here we are. So we've been in construction since September, and hopefully we open in 4 weeks.
What? Oh, look at that. So by the way, my producer Dominic is the sneakiest man.
Yeah, pretty sneaky.
He can find anything.
Yeah, that's a construction picture. Actually, Jeff Easton took that for Get Out magazine. That's me and my two business partners looking like the village people in the big construction site. That's the top floor.
Where is the queue located?
It is on 8th Avenue, right smack between Times Square and Hell's Kitchen. And I don't, is it okay to tell the address? I forget. We're gonna start dropping promo the next couple of days, so we'll all know exactly.
Which street is it on, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, it's on 8th Avenue.
Oh, it's on 8th Avenue.
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, I thought you possibly were moving into the old Lucky Chang's because it's 5 floors.
Oh, no, that's interesting. No. Who's in there now? I'm already thinking of what's the next space. I
don't know what's in there now, but it was across from where Roslyn used to be.
Yeah. That's interesting. The neighborhood's crazy. More and more spaces are opening up when we really had a number of places to not choose from, but we certainly saw a number of places because, and then sadly, more and more places just kept closing down. But I think this is going to inspire another rollout of some really amazing creative spaces. Hopefully, I hope so.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Where did you come up with the name The Queue?
Well, me, my partners, yep, that's us. Me and my partners had about 132 different names that we went through, and that sparked a lot of fights between all of us. And I kind of one day just said, I started talking about the Q Bar in San Francisco, which is where I'm from. And that was like one of the first places I ever frequented as like a kid, as a teenager. And I had such romantic memories of my of my teenage years as a young queer kid in San Francisco. And I said, oh, what about the Q? And they both seemed to really like it. It was the first time that the three of us agreed on anything right at the same time. So I said, okay, it has to be it. That's it. And we just didn't move from there. And it's nothing that exciting other than it's the Q and the LGBTQIA.
I love that.
Yeah.
That is exciting to me. Can I ask the worst name that came up in conversation?
Oh God, yeah. Alan came up with Ladybug. I don't know how that came up, but I was like, maybe not that one. What other ones were really crazy? They just got crazy. I don't know. And then they would turn into all of us in different bars and places, drinking wine, drinking cocktails, texting each other names, and all of them just getting nuttier and nuttier. But the Q we're happy with.
What was the worst name you came up with?
Oh, all mine were really good.
All of yours were really good. Not one of them?
Not one. All of mine were brilliant, which I'm holding on to because I also think this is just going to be the first of many.
Absolutely. Well, I only hope so. That's funny. All right. So there's been quite a bit of controversy in the past regarding venues favoring Caucasian entertainment.
Yeah.
What is the Q doing differently to be a more welcoming venue?
I mean, innately, if anyone knows my events are very diverse, sort of in nature. I mean, myself, I'm an Asian American gay creature who always had to. I am this person, and I'm a natural eccentric, and my sense of aesthetic is always one of mixed cultures and mixed generations as well, and mixed and just the celebration of diversity. I mean, New York is my events, and what I'd like for the Q to be is my reflection of what my New York is, and my New York is Black, brown, trans, queer, femme, gay, everything. And I don't even think in terms of working with one demographic or the other, because it's always just been that way since I can remember producing events in the beginning. So it's a very fair question, I think, for many, but for me, I've always just been like, my entirety is diverse. My family is diverse. My group of friends are diverse. The way that I produce is diverse because that's just New York.
Yeah. I think it's even a stickier situation in Hell's Kitchen, where most of the bars that we've had called out in our community are in Hell's Kitchen. So to have a venue that is already stating the things that you're stating is very reassuring for us as mixed entertainers. I mean, I've even had, I'm very white presenting for a Latin and indigenous queen, but I have had people, oh, what's the Martinez about? Are you not white?
Really?
Oh yeah, I've been asked that before, and we've walked out of venues in the city for things like that. So
I'm sorry, that's wild. That's wild.
And I lived in Michigan before this, so it's not. I had no issues there. About it.
Well, what's interesting is, coming from San Francisco. San Francisco is such a transient city, much like New York is, in terms of it's where people land from so many different places and so many different cultures. So again, my kind of upbringing in life, I was there from 17 till I moved to New York, and it just was always multicultural, multiracial, multi-generational, which is always very important to me as well. And so I kind of, in a weird way, never experienced the segregational part of demographics, if you will, especially in our industry, until I moved to New York, because the neighborhoods were so specific, right? And I remember telling myself, really in the beginning of my career, that it might sound so embarrassing to admit now, but I remember saying to myself, I really hope one day I can be the bridge between uptown and downtown, Brooklyn and Manhattan and Queens and all of the surrounding places, because we're all here as New Yorkers for the same reason of trying to be understood, I think, right? And trying to tell our story in one way or the other, whether it's through our drag or through how we carry ourselves or how we identify or or what our art is. And I think if we remember that the person next to us just also wants to be understood, then I think we'll be in good shape. At least that's been my approach.
Yeah, that's a very well said, and a lot of great things to think about. When you're thinking about experience and going into the queue, what are the dreams of the different floors? What do you have planned? What's your experience going to be like in the queue?
I think it's going to be really fucking intense. I think I know, because I also just spent all day, every single day is taking my program, which is the beast, in front of me and tweaking shows, moving them to better slots, and the people that I've booked so far, I'm driving crazy because I'm like, all right, confirmed, I have you for Friday. Actually, can I move you here? Because I think you'll be better here because this other thing will be here. And they're like, fine, it doesn't matter. I would just want to be a part of the queue. So that's great. So luckily everyone's working with me, but to fine tune everything has been, a challenge, to say the least, a happy challenge. But so essentially there's 4 floors, 3 experiences. And the first floor is classic cabaret. And it's like, the whole 3 stories or 4 stories is my love letter to New York. And the first floor is like my 1950s, 1960s, like Copacabana, Goodfellas, cabaret, diamond floor, gold bar, gold stripper poles, beautiful stage. There's 3 different stage platforms. The performers lit up anywhere they go, stand-up piano, stationary drum kit, because we're going to have live jazz, live big band all the time. And that's just the first floor. And then the second floor, I call it the cock goes to Japan. So it's like a cruisy sort of labyrinth spot between floors 1 and 3, but it's cruisy, but in a youthful way. So it's like pop art and art installations. It's kind of like it's like a cartoon wonderland, but it's certainly for the explorative and the curious. And then there's a hidden room, which is next to that floor behind a tufted wall. But you can experience that when you come to the queue. And then the top floor is a 22-foot ceiling nightclub, 3,000 square foot nightclub. So the whole thing is just a behemoth, but really it's, I've thrown and produced, a number of really wonderful, mixed, diverse artists, cabarets, live music shows. I've DJ'd at the Cock until, 4 or 5 in the morning, and I've thrown huge raves. So the queue is the brick and mortar of all of that. And alongside with Alan Pikus, who's my business partner, he's also my partner in producing. So together, his demographic is like Hell's Kitchen, Chelsea, Uptown, and mine's, downtown Brooklyn. And together to fill a room with all of those people is another way of us diversifying, but also it's another way of making sure that the place is packed.
That's honestly, I don't even know what to say after that.
It's a lot.
I'm beyond excited. I've been looking for a place that has live jazz, but is also a queer club for ages now. Olivia Lux and I have been putting together a jazz show for quite some time, and I just hope one day we get
to the queue. Done. Just bring it to the queue. That sounds amazing. I mean, we're doing, and that was part of it. It's, I love what my neighbors do, and I love what the different facets of New York nightlife and performances are. But for me specifically, it was important to, I hate the word elevate. That's not what I'm looking for. But enable to take what drag performances are now and give them a stage that just feels a little more visceral and rich in production, in the music aspect of it, right? So, Laguna Blue is going to do a show, but she's playing with a live band, and I think that's going to be like a really wonderful thing. And we have our in-house jazz band and in-house big band, and a lot of other really great talent that I can't speak on yet. But most of all of it is, instead of a backing track, which we also will have, most of them will be by piano or by live full band. So,
oh my gosh. I think I just Yeah, that's my life. I started as a professional opera singer and then toured Broadway.
Oh, amazing.
And now I sing mostly in drag more than out of drag, but just anything you need.
Well, we have a home for you, so just come.
If you need somebody at Monday on a 3 p.m., just call me. I'll be there.
Well, you know what I'll do is offline. This is probably completely unprofessional to talk about, but offline we'll chat about everything. We'll find you a place.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. I also I want to speak to a post that you made, which made me laugh, but it is totally something I was serious about. You said, are there any foul-mouthed queens out there who don't mind like getting dirty with a crowd?
Well, yeah, I think I specifically was looking for a pig who's really good on the mic.
Yeah.
That a sex pig, to be clear.
That piqued my interest though, because I've worked in so many different crazy venues. I've done S&M parties. It's just like those type of, and I'm not saying like choose me. I'm saying like I love working with those type of people that have such a diverse crowd in their club that is so wonderful. And so I'm just I'm elated, which is one of the reasons that I wanted to reach out to you and have this conversation, because my crowd is that it's not. I don't typically get drag queens tuning in. I get older queer people and families and people who are visiting New York for the first time, or just kind of like outcast people that I've gathered into my family along the way. And so this is a venue for them too.
Absolutely, yeah.
Good time. And
so it was
really, I love that. Please.
Thank you. No, I was, because you said family, I immediately thought of my mother. It was important for my mother to have a banquet on the first floor while, my dad ran around and started flirting with girls or whatever on the third floor. And, I got lost on the second floor. So it is a family place in a weird kind of way for very specific families.
Are very queer oriented families.
Yeah, that's right.
So you've also been releasing a lot of cool things recently, and since you've released it, I'm going to ask you about it. You have some very cool investors that you just posted about, if you don't mind talking about that.
Ooh, not at all. Oh my gosh, no, that's why we have them. Yeah, so we, when me, Bob, and Alan were putting this project together, we had talked about, needing investors. This is a pretty expensive endeavor, to say the least. And, for me, I didn't even know where to begin. I thought, do I fundraise? Do we do a GoFundMe? Like, I wasn't really sure, what to do. So Bob, frankly, was like, some special people. Who can we tap into? And so kind of just called my friends up and I said, well, the first person I called was Billy Porter. He's the closest to me. He's very close with my boyfriend, my partner. And, he's become family to me. And it's always a weird topic of mixing money and friendship. But I just called him and I was like, Billy, you know what I do? I'm opening this thing, and he said, yeah, I'd love to invest in you. And it was pretty straightforward, and in fact, he just called me the other day and we both were crying on FaceTime because he called just to tell me how proud he was of me and how he was like, Frankie, I just want to let you know, like, if this was some bullshit, I would have told you it was some bullshit and then I would not have invested in you. But this is not some bullshit. And I know this is going to be huge. So this is my pleasure to do that. So that was really, and we both just wept. So that was really special. And Jake Shears, Jake Shears is.
Oh, I love Jake.
Me too. I mean, all of these people are New Yorkers, New York artists, nightlife purveyors and lovers of New York nightlife, and actually are from New York nightlife. And they also represent what the Q is, which is theater, Broadway, pop music, film, television, all of those things. So that's really why they were chosen. The celebrity part was, yes, strategic, but also if they weren't to be celebrities and they were just themselves as artists, I would be elated by just that. But Jake Shears I've just known for decades. He was actually a go-go boy before he was the lead singer of the Scissor Sisters. And Zach and Charlie used to go to my parties all the time. So I met them both on the dance floor before, there they are. Before we all became friends. So yeah, I made this funny meme drop to make as an announcement for everyone. And everyone was like, is this a meme or is this real? Is this a Ryan Murphy television show or is this like, what is this? And I'm like, no, those are my buddies and these are my investors.
Funny story about Jake. I was in New Orleans for an HR conference. That's what I did for my day job for a long time. And I was at one of the clubs there. I can't remember which one I was at. And Jake walked in and we sat together and had a drink. And I said, do you want to marry my husband and I?
What was his answer?
He was like, sure.
He probably thought about it. Yeah.
Probably meet him first.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We danced the night away and had drinks until like 5
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So yeah.
That's kind of the essence of how all of these people are. They're very, their celebrity is intense, and people's relationship with celebrity is really intense, and so that's you can't escape that. But at the core of it, they're just brilliant, magnificent, self-aware, honest, incredibly amazing, talented human beings.
Wow. So you haven't been able to say the address, which you're going to release soon. So where should people be looking for the address when you do release it?
You can follow us at Q Club NYC, which is our Instagram, and of course at Frankie Sharp, and we'll always push promo from either of those places. You can also sign up at theqnyc.com. There's a subscription link there, and sign up for all of our updates and secret parties and all that fun stuff.
And opening day is set for which day?
June 24th, maybe, hopefully.
So since the city is actually opening up the week after Pride is supposed to be, is the Q going to take on some of that for the first week of opening?
Yes, so June 24th is going to be, I think, a soft opening. I think we're allowed to be at 75%. I forget, right? So something like that. But it is I believe it's going to be it might be a private-ish party bought out by some liquor company that's helping us open out. So I'm not complaining about that. And then that weekend we're going to do we're going to do our Pride events through the weekend. And then July 1st we'll be fully open.
Wow.
That is if we're open. We're there. Like I said, I had to run to the interview. Like I said, we're there every single day, making sure the final touches and on everything are going according to schedule.
Well, I just want to say thank you for all that you're doing and all the effort you and your partners are putting into this business. It's New York City is it's scary to walk through right now because of how many things are closed. It's not scary because we're not seeing people, because people are starting to come back, but the amount of
that's scary. People coming back in the way they are is scary. I'm like, we're not ready. We're not ready. It's crazy.
And I'm still very grateful that even though mask mandates are not as strong, that people are still wearing them. Please continue to wear your masks, people. Also, actually, that's a great question real quick before I say any more. Are you going to have mask mandates? What's your procedure going to be like for getting into the queue? Or has that not been established yet?
Yeah, no, it has. You have to have a vaccination card in order to get into the queue.
Awesome. Do you accept the Excelsior Pass?
We do. Yeah, Excelsior Pass or your vaccination card. That's right.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and your vaccination card does have to match your ID.
Ooh, good one. I like that. I have been lovingly calling out clubs that have not been doing that.
Oh, really? Who's not doing it? Oh, we're not talking about it.
I'm a very forward person. Anything I would say behind somebody's back is something I would say to their face.
Oh, no, there's places not doing that. That's crazy.
And that includes venues. Nobody in New York City so far, but
yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm like, New York, I think, is being pretty good about it.
Club Feathers in New Jersey is the one I'm thinking of, and I publicly called them out on my Instagram because I just want people to be safe. I'm all for everybody opening up. Please open up. We need venues to go to. We need venues to perform at. We need people to start. We need to figure out what life is going to be like post-pandemic. And so please open up. But thank you for having a rule that keeps us safe and make sure that people are doing what they need to do. I just it's so crazy to know that it's right around the corner that we have things coming.
Nothing gives me more anxiety. I mean, this nighttime coffee gives me anxiety, but nothing more than that gives me anxiety. It is, I'm kind of, I'm trying to sort of numb myself to the idea that it's just around the corner, but it's around the corner. It's pretty wild. I mean, moving to Hell's Kitchen, you really do see people on the streets in full force hopefully looking for the cue, but they're looking for something. They're looking for trouble, and in a good way, the good kind of trouble. And yeah, I welcome it and I invite it. And you know, with the mask mandate and the vaccination cards, it was really, really important to me to have worked this hard for the last year and a half, getting this place together to make sure that when we did open finally, which this is much sooner than we thought we were going to open, but because we wanted to make sure that we were the answer and to the trauma and the return to some semblance of normalcy and not perpetuate and prolong our trauma, right? So it was important to me that it was not only people felt safe, but they felt comfortable and sexy, they felt comfortable and happy. And I think we're gonna do that, so.
Just thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to make New York City nightlife beautiful and just being a queer person and celebrating that. Thank you. I want to switch topics really quick and ask you a question that I did not send to you. How much do you know about pageantry?
I don't know about pageantry at all.
Okay.
At all. I need a guru.
I'm competing for my second national title. I'm sure you know some queens in New York City who have captured them. Patai Hart, Miss Gay America.
Yeah.
National Comedy Queen. I'm a former Miss Gay United States. And I'm going for another title, National Entertainer of the Year. I am always looking for places to perform, but that's not what I'm asking you. I want to know, since you have no idea about nationals and pageantry, if you were to ask me one or two questions about pageantry or the competition that I'm doing, which is called National Entertainer of the Year. I know I'm putting you on the spot.
No, I like this. Okay.
What would you ask me? And I'm going to answer you.
Wait, I'm confused. Am I asking you as a judge asking a question to a competitor, or I'm just asking about pageantry in general?
You are just asking me any questions you have about me competing at National Entertainer of the Year or in pageantry in general, and I'll move it towards EOY.
This is a probably very unpageant question, because when I think of pageantry, I think of showgirls, and the only like performance showgirls, and then when I think of showgirls, I think of the movie Showgirls. So, have you ever? This is probably not very correct of me to ask, but have you ever sabotaged any of your competitors in a pageant?
No, but I do know.
I was hoping the answer was no, but
I do know Queen. I will not say her name. And actually, my best friend is here with me. She's getting ready for the show that we're about to do tonight, and she knows exactly who I'm going to say. But we know a queen who actually used to crush up light bulb glass and put it in people's face powders. She also used to, so when you rub it on, it would tear your face up. She also has.
God. That's like holy murder. That's crazy.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
She used to take scissors to people's gowns before they went on stage, so when they moved, it would like rip. She has filed their heels down, so when they stepped on them, the heels would break.
Would she get far in the competition, this person?
She would typically win them because the judges wouldn't. And she had sabotaged everybody, so hers was
holy God.
Like gowns in the pageant world, we spend like
crazy expensive. I know that.
Anywhere between like $2,000 and $10,000 for one gown.
Right.
And he took somebody's pageant gown and threw it out a window once.
Is there any like stone cold evidence on this? Like, can you guys arrest this bitch?
She has admitted that she used to do these. She does not do this stuff anymore, but she's admitted that.
She's a reformed pageant criminal.
The first time my friend and I met her, we were terrified that we were going to be doing a show with her because we had never seen her face to face. And she said, "Don't worry, girls, I don't do that stuff anymore." And we were like,
wow, she sounds fascinating.
yeah. And she said, "I like you, so I would never do it to you anyways."
I'm gonna come back on the show and we're gonna interview her together because that sounds amazing.
Yes, please. Please, please, please. Do you have a second question?
Yeah. Oh, do I have a second question?
Yeah.
I thought, yeah. Let me think. Do I have a second question about pageantry? So no sabotaging, no pushing anyone down the stairs. Okay. When did you have was your mother, whether drag mother or not, was she the typical pushy stage mom of a mother?
My biological mom is pretty relaxed in general, but I think atypical in the sense that because I don't sing professionally as a man anymore, she constantly is asking me when I'm going to go back to it, when I'm going to. And most
God, how dreadful!
are like, why don't you be an accountant or a lawyer or
right,
anything? Like that. But she constantly is like, why are you not on stage? This is you're born to do this. This is
right.
And so she actually finally saw me sing in drag, and she was like, I get it now.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So when I won Miss Gay United States,
has she stopped asking you the question of when you're going to go back to singing not as you?
Oh no, she wants she wants me to be doing both.
Beautiful. Okay, got it. Right.
And my drag mother is an old school queen back in. She lives in Chicago and is a trans woman.
From?
Where am I from?
I say you're from Chicago.
No, I'm from. I was born in Texas, lived in Michigan my entire almost.
Oh. What part of Michigan?
The Lansing area. I
cool.
Entertained in Grand Rapids and Detroit and everywhere in that state.
Cool. I happen to know weird places of almost every state, so I was just curious. All right.
What place do you know in Michigan?
Oh, just that's it.
I was waiting for you to say something like Ypsilanti or something, some weird town, Mackinac City or something. But yeah.
I spent some time in Muskegon. Where else did I go?
Yeah, Muskegon is.
Everyone I noticed had Mountain Dew for breakfast in Muskegon. It was a pretty intense. Yeah,
that's like the Michigan diet. It's a donut and a Mountain Dew.
Yeah, lots of dollar malt liquor. I mean, it was fun time. I don't forget why I was there. It was a boyfriend or something. Anyway.
But yeah, no, my drag mother is just a very old school queen that just supports drag in general.
Cool. Good.
Yeah, I've been very lucky.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking me questions. I have one last question for you, and that's outside of the queue, what's coming up for you?
Outside of the queue, what is coming up for me that I'm allowed to talk about? Honestly, the queue is a very all-encompassing thing right now, and it's the only thing that I can think of happening. I mean, I think of the queue so much that sometimes I forget to shower. That's like the only thing that's on my mind right now. However, we are doing some things that are in line with the queue that will come out later this year, whether or not that's on the television screen or not. So there's some other exciting stuff, but I can't talk about too much about it.
Nice. I have thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. We
Same
should
here.
Do this again. And
yes.
I'm serious about putting together a panel. I will be happy to facilitate and host that so that all of you can get your information out there. Let's get you, let's get Suzanne, let's get Amanda.
That sounds amazing.
C2 and all of the people who throw parties.
Yeah, please, and anything you do to help out with that. That sounds so amazing. Nightlife is my favorite thing. Being a gay nightlife person is my favorite thing to talk about. So I'm here for it. Let's do it.
Same. We will be talking offline, and stick around for a second. Dominic's going to chat with me to end the show, and then we will say goodbye off screen.
I'm here.
All right. This is Frankie Sharp. He is the, in my words, new daddy of New York City nightlife. Thank you for being here, and I will talk to you in a second, my love.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right, Dominic, my dear, you are up with your question for me. Go ahead.
Hi. That was an exciting interview. This is.
I know. I love him.
Wow. It's really, really exciting. Okay, so I guess my question is, and since I've been around a couple of times for your pageants in the past, my question for you is, what is the first thing you will do after the pageant is over?
Ooh, I will deliver pizza because that is everybody's favorite
Yeah.
on my team. And we will do our tradition, which is going around the room and saying thank you to everybody that has been a part of my package. And wow, that got me more emotional than I thought it was going to. Going around the room and saying thank you to everybody that was a part of my team and that made everything a possibility, and who has just been a part of my life in the most amazing and lovely ways. So yeah, that's the first thing that we always do, is say how thankful we are for each other.
That's awesome. That's great. And I guess my second one is all about the social media world, which is, is social media, in your opinion, bringing people together or bringing people apart?
Social media, I think, is the only thing that kept us together during the pandemic.
That's true.
And it's going to continue to be a part of my life. Viva Aaliyah was born in the pandemic, and we are very lucky to be in our third season. And I don't want to stop that. I know you and I have talked about doing Viva Aaliyah in front of a live audience going forward.
Absolutely.
And we want to do that, but I don't see the digital aspect of it going away. Maybe we can talk to Frankie about doing an episode at the Q, and
there you go. Yeah.
And then we can sing a little song and have a little live entertainment. But we've talked about some off-Broadway theaters and some other venues to have Viva Aaliyah, and I think that it does continue to bring us together, because there are going to be people that are still scared to go out of their homes and leave and be out in the world that none of us have been in for over a year. It's terrifying for me, and I'm a queen. I have to be in crowds. So
yeah, no, I think Olivia said it best a couple of seasons ago when she said she could see a world where nightlife entertainers kind of do this digital thing kind of earlier in the evening, and then get ready and you go out to the club and do our things in person. So yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you.
Anything else?
That's all I got for you today, Lab.
All right, babe. I am going to end this show. Thank you, Vivas, for tuning in once again. Next week, we will be interviewing National Entertainer of the Year, FI, and Mr. Entertainer of the Year, Buffet and Prince Cole, who are hopefully going to be handing their title. Well, hopefully Buffet will be handing her title to me July 25th. So I will be in Louisville that weekend competing. I cannot wait to see you there. And let's party it out. And everybody meet me at the Q when it's open. Until then, Viva Aaliyah.